Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Where's the bandit? Once again, hello everybody, good to see you. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode. Today, we're here again with Baba Baje.
Rayvon McGann.
Angel Gonzalez.
Sakue Guard.
And today we're going to be talking about some things we enjoy. As a hint, you guessed it, anime. So for a lot of people, anime infers many various things. For some, it inspires. For others, it's just a means to be ridiculed by. So today we're going to go around and talk to what anime... Here we go again, bro. Anyways, something lighthearted and fun. So we're gonna have fun. Hopefully you do as well. So cool, because you're a guest on the show. Why don't you go ahead and give us some background about yourself and your journey with anime?
Well, my journey with anime started when I was probably 11. My cousin introduced me to Hunter x Hunter, and that was one of the first animes I watched. And from there, that's where I just kept watching it and watching it. She's the one that pretty much influenced me my whole life. So you keep watching it now, I'm in love with it.
Bro, if you watch Hunter x Hunter, you already know, like, if that's what gets you hooked on it, you already know you're gonna be like a long time anime fan.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I was trying to introduce my girl into anime, and I had no idea like what starter animes to start with, and like I could never do Hunter x Hunter because it's just so complex, bro. Literally so complex.
Yeah, that was one thing I was like, whenever I try to get somebody into anime, I would always like think of which one should I show them. So I was like, Hunter x Hunter, or sometimes I used to say Tokyo Ghoul. I'm like, but that's a little,
too much.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
Far too much for a first time viewer.
But I never really figured it out. Then now sometimes I say Attack on Titan, but like that's way too complex.
That's far, because then it's just a bar so high. Also,
yeah,
I feel
exactly. Then they'll watch like something lesser and be like, oh, what is this?
What makes a good starter anime? Like, what like defines like a good starter?
Something. I think it's something that has like a good story. The animation doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah.
Something maybe I know. I'm just gonna say like relate to, but I know about that. But
I feel
something
like
good. Like,
I feel like low key, like a lot of animes have like too many values that, or like just like tropes that if somebody only grew up watching like Western media, they just wouldn't get. So like, I don't know, for like half the show, they're just like kind of like, oh, okay, like I'm super not used to this. So like, shows that don't like hinge on you being familiar with like Japanese culture, like I think those like that's kind of how you have to start it out.
I really kind of feel like a good starting anime, honestly, is like one that's just comical, because like everybody like loves a good laugh, regardless of how it presents itself to you. So I feel like shows such as even like Naruto, for example, was a great starting anime. Like for me, that's kind of my first anime ever, and that was just shown on like Cartoon Network, and like for me, I was able to enjoy it a lot because it's has its moments of being serious, but it's also like lighthearted at the same time, and that's like really cool to have that balance throughout like the show. I feel like that's like very important to like get someone's attention in the beginning.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because like now Naruto's in that like era where it's like kind of dated. Like the first like half, the animation's kind of like rough to get through, bro. Like if I was gonna show that to somebody that I wanted to like stay like watching anime, I would have to constantly be like listen, it gets better. Like it gets better. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to like kind of manage their expectations in that way because you don't want to show them like garbage and be like keep watching this, you know.
And another thing was like, I know some people that didn't watch anime was like, why would I watch something with cartoons and stuff?
Yeah.
And they'll say like how they wouldn't be emotionally attached to it, but I showed my girlfriend the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, and she cared about it. So that's another thing for a starter anime. Maybe get something they could like.
Like
Important. Be emotionally attached to characters like what's one of those romance animes?
Oh, like Kaguya-sama, like Love is War.
Yeah, that or what's the other ones?
I don't.
I don't watch them, but like maybe get them on that because
That's a really
for
cool.
girls,
and it's
for
fun.
girls at least.
Yeah, it's very
But for
easy.
guys, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what, and also like my girl cried at the end of the Jujutsu Kaisen movie too, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy. I think there's like a balance where you have to find where they're emotionally connected to it, but like we were talking about this earlier, how like anime has like a lot of like dramatization where it can be like over the top. We were talking about like like people like Angel, like who are like super aware and like don't really fall like into like those types of tropes, like a Kuroko's basketball where they're just like super duper over the top for like a 5-yard pass or whatever. It's like people like that can't get invested into shows that are like too like over the top.
Very valid. And I was even kind of thinking kind of ironic that you even mentioned Kuroko's basketball, because one of our guests will be coming on the show a little bit later. I even tried to show him like, okay, he's an athlete, so like what's a good like anime that portrays athletics? So I just thought, oh, Kuroko's basketball. However, like I failed to realize, because like I'm just so used to like things being like over dramatized in anime, how that would appear to like just like a non-typical viewer. And like it's very important like, to consider. You gotta think about your audience for the shows you offer.
No, for sure.
Because like, your first show has a like dramatic impact on how you view anime.
Yeah.
Like for example, like my first show being like Naruto, like I have a very difficult time seeing like the antagonist as like a true villain, as evil, unless they just come out and just say it.
Yeah.
But like shows like that, it's very difficult for you to see like how there's a really like a true evil almost when at least dealing with like with anime.
I definitely feel that. Like shows like Baki, for instance. Like if you show that to somebody their first time, they're gonna be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
It's just like crazy for the very beginning.
But Angel, what was your first anime?
I watched Dragon Ball Z. I first started.
All of it?
No, not all of it. I stopped watching it because of Prison Break.
Yeah.
I realized that real life is important to me.
Fascinating.
I care about, I don't know, it's because like ever since I was little I cared about true crime. I guess because like where I grew up too, I always like heard about crime, so I just love hearing like true stories about crime.
That's valid. That's valid for sure.
Okay.
Are you open-minded to like watching anime?
I guess I would say yes, since I watched Dragon Ball Z, but it'd be hard.
Okay.
Very hard.
Has that been like one of the only animes you watched?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of Death Note or Code Geass?
Mm-mm.
No.
But interesting that you mentioned your point about how like you value like reality more, and like that's almost as if you're trying to say like anime is almost like an escape from the reality of like the world, and like that's a very interesting point that you brought up, because I think if you're not careful, it is very easy to be like desensitized to the suffering going around you in the world as a result of anime. Like bro, me personally, I remember very well in like 8th grade when I was on my like anime grind, just like a new show like within every 3 days, just consuming more content. Like it just got to the point where I was just convinced that like the human race just needed to just vanish. And like I know it's funny, but I was full on convinced, guys.
Oh my god.
It's like if you can get to, like that deep of like a fantasy realm with like essentially just like a cartoon, like it's like you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
That's
Because you know those memes you see of like those long like monologues, like I hate humanity. Everyone gets to die.
Yeah.
No matter what it takes, I will attain my goals. So there'd be like, you know those?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, you don't want that. And people like that give anime like a horrible rap.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. But like,
So you gave a horrible view on anime yourself?
yeah, man. That's worrying.
yeah, man, I was at one point in my life I was just a part of the problem. I admit it.
I think you're still in that.
Yeah, like low key, bro. Because like I watched anime and I was never at that point. Like I was always able to like differentiate anime from real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mama.
I think you were too far in the left lane, and now you like merged 2 lanes, but you're still not off that highway.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Oh, most definitely. But I think it's important that we realize that progress is being made.
Yeah.
Progress is being made, fellas.
Yeah, it's crazy. But years ago, if you ever told someone you watched anime, you get bullied.
You're a joke.
Yeah.
You're a joke. And Baba was probably like the reason for that
Mm.
years ago. But
Oh my
now
gosh.
it's not as bad. It's not as bad. Like you tell someone you watch anime, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, I don't really like it. It was kind of weird." I'm like, "Oh."
No, but see,
that's
the issue
everything."
though is like my kind of annoyance with like people now is like now it's like a trend. And to me, that's very frustrating because it's like I'm glad that the shows are getting more publicity and whatnot, but like you can't try like fandoms. Fandoms are killing shows. In my opinion, like My Hero.
Yeah, I was about to say My Hero.
Their fandom is doing far too
So
much they
crazy.
don't have to do,
So,
and it's
like
very
this-
frustrating to witness. Like these people are typically they're high schoolers. The shows are showing these high schoolers trying to be superheroes. Like, why are you trying to like make all these like ulterior motives that they have? You don't need to do that. Just watch the show and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
So
Because like people start hating on it now. Like it's a good show, but just the fandom that makes it so cringy sometimes.
Yeah, I think on the flip side of that, like people like Baba back in the day just made it so hard to be an anime watcher because it was people like Baba that would just Naruto run in the hallways.
nonsense. That's false.
And it was kind of valid. Like it's valid to like bully people like that because at the end of the day, like no matter what show you watch, you can't be just like acting like that. Like you have to be able to like operate within like the social confines of the school, you know, even if you like a particular show.
That's dumb,
but-
I
but,
think you're making a very
No,
bad
like people
generalization.
like Baba
Excuse me.
who just
Excuse me.
want to just Naruto.
Excuse me.
He still
Yeah,
does
yeah.
it to this day
Excuse me.
for no reason.
I'd be seeing
See,
this man Naruto run
these
like
are just
out of
blatant
nowhere.
falsehoods. You guys are witnessing just falsehoods left and right, and it's very unfortunate that you have
I
to hear this
disagree with
nonsense.
that.
Yeah, man.
But hey, people believe what they want to believe. However, it's important that we realize anime should be given its credit because like it does have its good factors. Like I really maybe I don't watch enough Western media or whatnot, but like I'm generally convinced like some shows that I watch like a Naruto example, like I will probably never feel the like message that I got from watching like a young boy like overcome his like dismal circumstances as like I don't know what popular shows are out nowadays, man. Like I can't even say like I don't know.
I don't know, like Black Clover. You can,
No, I was talking about like a Western media
Oh.
show that has like a real message. It's like a real message.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
like
know.
shows don't really have real messages anymore. It's more just like about like your entertainment and like that's it.
I mean, you
That's
can.
kind of why I appreciate anime a lot.
I feel like anime, it's like more in your face. Like the message, like is more in your face, and there's kind of like more layers to unpack. But like a lot of times in like Western media, it's like it's either super far removed from the actual thing that's being like portrayed to you, or there's just nothing there, and it's just like solely eye candy. Like it's just for entertainment purposes only. But I don't know. I think it also like depends on like the way people perceive anime. It's like just entirely changed by how you decide to act as a fan. Like you guys were talking about the My Hero like fandom. That for me completely ruined the show. And like I think you can look at different fandoms in a way, or like different like shows and like the groups that they create, and kind of like I don't know, like see like a way like that you can kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say.
That's alright, man. That's alright.
Thanks, man.
But I was just thinking like in regards to like the fandoms that surround different shows. I feel like fandoms in and of themselves are like humans decide to just like like it comes from like tribalism really. Like you want to find like your own and like be with them because like how
That's
do
what I was.
like
Yeah,
like
that-
how
that's
we
what
all
I was
start
trying to
out.
say. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we all played soccer. That's how we all know each
Mhm.
other, and like that's like our tribe essentially. And people like being around the tribes. So like I just feel like anime can do that on like a far broader sense because there's so many like different like subcategories within like anime because you have like romance, you have sports, you have like mystery, crime, fantasy, like all different kinds of stuff that I think is really cool. So
Yeah, like anime is like one of the biggest conversation starters, in my opinion. Cause somebody could bring up you watch anime and like, oh yeah, then we just go back and forth for almost 30 minutes talking about what you watched, how you liked it, and all that. And I don't know, like it's nice to hear people say that sometimes. 'Cause it's fun having those conversations. Like with y'all, I would sometimes have those conversations like multiple times. It might be the same thing. So
we're just having it like a different way now. So it's
Yeah,
more
it's a way,
entertaining. Yeah, man, no, for sure, for sure. It's very like fascinating stuff. And like I feel like almost with anime, like it's almost more of an immediate connection than like say it's like, oh, have you seen like this latest show? It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like with anime, it's like, oh, have you seen like this show? Oh yeah, I have. Okay, like, how'd you feel about like? Remember like when you first like talked to me about Hunter and Hunter like in depth, like how like the main characters are kids. Like that's done for a reason because like their like viewpoints on the world are like purely their own. Whether we see it as like morally good or morally bad, it's relevant to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're doing what they like sees fit. Like for example, like would you want a friend like Naruto who's gonna like encourage you to be better, or a friend like Gon who's like if he likes you he'll help you hide a body. It doesn't matter if like what you're doing is right or wrong. It's like I don't know. There's different kind of value sets they're putting forward. It's like your loyalty to like I don't know moral high ground or something like that. Like I don't know. I think it's really cool how it can like connect people.
And that kind of, I feel like that circles back to like why Hunter x Hunter is like a great anime, but maybe not a great starter anime, because like people that aren't like seasoned like anime veterans aren't gonna like dissect it to that like point, you know? Like even why it's called Hunter x Hunter. Like I saw this thing where they were like describing why it was, and it was like, because like every hunter has a goal, like a thing that they're hunting. Gon is hunting his father, which is a hunter. So Gon is a hunter. So I think that's like people can like kind of try to dissect it, but like unless you're a seasoned anime like person that's watching anime a lot, like you probably won't. Yeah,
you'll be too like whatever.
Yeah,
We don't really get the message.
Mhm.
I would say.
Even with a show like Attack on Titan, like it's one of the nominees for like the best anime like of 2022 with the Crunchyroll Awards, and like that show's been out for like what
Years.
like almost a decade. We're really pushing like a decade. The new season of Part 3 comes out in like less than like 2 months, and I'm so excited for that. But like even that, man, it's just sometimes I'm just speechless.
But like going back on like the how you said forgot, but because like when Attack on Titan was the #1 viewed show in America, I was like, where did all these anime watchers come from? I know all these people weren't watching Attack on Titan before and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like
Back when you had to like have on your phone. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Like put it down.
Yeah.
Oh nothing. It's
Yeah.
like some like obscene stuff, but
yeah, like people started to see how good it was, and people finally started to watch it, and more hype gain around it.
yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of forget where I was trying to go with this when I first brought it up, but it's just like I don't know. Like I'm genuinely convinced like Western media just can't reach me the way an anime could. And that very well could just be as a result of my own like biases I've developed like over time of watching so much anime in the volume and intensity as I did when I was like coming up. But like I really would say that I prefer it that way. And like I don't know. That's for better or for worse.
Have you watched a lot of Western media, like even on Netflix or anything?
Bro, if not for like my friends, like I wouldn't like honestly I only ever watched like shows like You for example. Because like back in my freshman like sophomore years, like when we'd hang out at like hotels, like what we'd watch. Like we watched You. And like it's like a good show. Like that was very interesting, very like, compelling. But like I'm not gonna go on my own accord to like watch a show such as like a Riverdale or something like that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really appeal to me. But
But like for me on Netflix, that's probably one of the main places I would watch like Western media, and like I like it, just like so like my brother, he watches it a lot. He watches like random shows sometimes on Netflix, either like actual reality or like animes, and sometimes he put me on, and like some of the shows on Netflix are pretty good. Like what I watched all of Lucifer, just sometimes some random movies on there. Like I watched The Vault. I know that if I know what that is. Yeah, like stuff like that. Like sometimes it's not that bad. You know, it's just a little entertainment for you. But just thinking about it, like for like the message era, like I mean not era, but like thing about it, I don't really find one in those shows. It's just entertainment.
see, and for me, that's like I just don't like that.
Mm.
Because, like, at its core, for me, just being entertained, like, yes, it's good to, like, enjoy your life. Do things that, like, bring you value. That's very important. Entertainment in itself is a form of value because, like, it raises your overall state of being. But, like, I feel like there's just something. Anime can do that and more because you're also, like, leading with, like, an actual, like, message. You're not being entertained for the sake of being, like, entertained. You're being entertained also having, like, I don't know, seeing, for example, with, like, I'm trying to think. I'm going back to, like, to Naruto a lot. I think it's the most, like, popular one that people would just, like, resonate with. It's just, like, there's so many different examples of characters in that show overcoming these, like, terrible tragedies in their own, like, personal lives. And, like, they even show you with, like, the two main characters how these two react to these tragedies leads them on their lives as, like, as ninjas, you know what I mean? And, like, that's just so cool to just, like, the overall like message behind that is like, just because you have, like, a rough beginning doesn't mean that your end must also be rough. Like, you have control. Like, don't just, like, let your circumstances, like, treat you as they see fit. Like, fight back. Like, that's, like, empowering. That's good. That's, like, a good message. And, like, I don't know, man. I just
Do shows like that ever do too much though?
Like how?
elaborate, please.
Like Naruto, for example. Like, every single person in that show, like, was such. It almost became like a victim of Olympics in Naruto. Like, who has the saddest backstory? Oh, this person's more valid for their reasoning because they have the saddest backstory. Does it ever become too much?
The thing is, I never thought. Okay, look, I never watched Naruto. It just been spoiled for me from the very beginning, and it continues on that. So I've never watched it, but I know
You're
a
kind of
lot
a fake
about it.
anime fan if you haven't watched.
Okay, we're not
Naruto.
gonna talk about
You're
that.
kind of a
We're
fake
just not gonna
anime.
talk
Like,
about
how
that. We're not
can
gonna
you
talk about that.
not have watched Naruto?
You might as
We're
well
not
be
gonna
one of
talk
those who got put along by the trend.
Yeah, man.
It is not. I'm okay. I just wasn't.
You
We're not gonna talk
didn't
about
watch Naruto.
You're a fraud.
that. I'm not. I watched enough of everything else. But
Not
anyways,
of being caution. Being a
anyways.
fraud.
No.
Okay, go
Anyway, almost. But I was gonna say that
on.
everybody being a victim, like, I've seen, like, all the sad stories of Naruto, Kakashi, Sasuke.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Sakura's.
She doesn't have.
She doesn't.
She doesn't have a sad story.
Yeah,
Which could be part of why she's the most, like,
Hated,
hated character in the
yeah.
show.
Exactly. But from what you said, like, I never thought about everybody being a victim.
Mhm.
And, like, now that you say that, I'm like, wow, a lot of people have a sad story in that.
Yeah.
And with pain and all that, like, who has sadder story, and, just Naruto ends up winning.
It almost got to a point where, like, whenever I would rewatch a series, like, in moments where, like, I'm supposed to feel sad, I'm just kind of laughing. It's just like, oh man, and then his mom, like, disowned him. So, like, always just, like, adding on, like, another, like, sad element to, like, this little boy's life. And then, I don't know, it's just, like, the more, like, tragic his story gets, like, the more valid his like, reckless, like, journey becomes. I don't know, like for instance, like, Gaara, like, that's what I mean, like, with the mother thing, like, all that. Like, this kid is, like, a ruthless murderer for, like, most of his life, but it's, like, it's okay because, like, he, like, loves his mom, and is, like, his mom, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
That's brilliant, because I'll be honest, like, I think that's why it's important to actually have, like, a balanced view of shows. Because for me, like, it's very easy for someone like me to only see the positive that a show brings, especially when it's anime. Like, I mean, goodness gracious, guys, if it's an anime, I'm highly just to, like, rate it above anything just because.
Mm.
And that's definitely a fault in my carrying my character as a person.
Wow.
I accept it. But at the end of the day, it's like, I never even thought about Naruto in that way. Like, oh yeah, because you've had all this suffering, you can, like, instill suffering on others. I never really kind of thought about it that way. But I kind of feel like, even by showing that, when Gaara encounters, like, Naruto, someone who, like, has had equal suffering, really it's like the same situation
Mhm.
to suffer the way he has, but he's just not doing it. He's not, like, what's it called? He's not acting on it the way Gaara is. It's just, like, so ennobling because
Mhm.
like, it literally leads Gaara to just transform his entire life.
Mm.
You feel me? So it's
Mm.
like, I feel like though it could very well be like a victim of Olympics, like it shows you like this like basically in life everyone's gonna be a victim at some point, whether you look at it or not. That's just the way life works.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the over like arching theme is like don't let your circumstances like define you essentially. I think that's so like powerful. And then you kind of gotta have those like intense, overly sad characters
Yeah.
just to show like that contrast of how important it is to like overcome that because like you can because like when like a loved one's going through a hard time or like you have like your girlfriend dumps you, classes aren't going well, soccer's hard, like know that like you can overcome this.
Mhm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what I was thinking.
So like we all agree that like it's kind of a good thing or a pro for anime to be like pushing these messages, but like is every author someone who we should be taking these messages from? Like for
Expand on
example,
that, please.
like the author of Chainsaw Man. Like, is this the guy that we're supposed to be listening to?
You mind expanding on that? Because I don't really know much about the author, to tell you the truth.
Not him, like, in and of himself. Like, there's no problem with him as the author. But, like, what's the message behind Chainsaw Man, guys? What is the message there?
Well, have you had it like spoiled for you? Do you know what inevitably happens?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm anime only. Like, I haven't watched.
Likewise,
I haven't
I'm
read.
Yeah, I am too. But like, as soon as Chainsaw Man came out, it was kind of spoiled.
How'd that happen?
Huh?
How'd that happen? It just
like,
came out.
just like it was coming out. And
Oh,
then
like social media just kind of.
first episode came out. I was on a TikTok video, looked at the comments, and everybody's talking
See,
about
that's-
something.
yeah.
All right.
That's part
TikTok
of why I
spoilers.
abandoned social media.
Yeah,
It's just like
but
let me enjoy stuff for a little bit. It's in seasons.
yeah, even like knowing about it, I can't wrap my head around with the messages.
Angel, you seem to have had a sly smirk. Care to
Hmm.
expand on what led to that reaction?
I think you're just banding the real life away too much.
Mm.
You can't
Wow.
block social media nowadays. That's like a form of life.
Yeah, look,
You can't live without like social media. To be honest, like you can block it as much as you want. It's gonna reach you.
God damn.
I suppose that's true, but I can definitely do my best to like mitigate its effects.
And that's why I think you believe too much in the anime world. Because you're canceling real life too much that you believe only like what is like being planted in your head from that instead of like the real world.
I can
That's
see that. I
a
think like
valid
if you're an
statement.
anime watcher, you need to have like a good balance.
And I think Saku has that because he watches so much like social media. He knows what's happening like in the real world, but it's not like he just throws it away, but he filters it to like where it's not completely thrown away. He's just like
Baba just lacks balance.
So
Yeah.
Mike,
and I think Ray's the same too. He balances both.
Yeah, Baba you just lack balance, bro.
wow, so I'm just disillusioned essentially.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
That's why I
But is
think
that truly a bad thing?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
it is.
I think that's why I don't take you serious when you're trying to recommend me an anime. Because like how you mentioned earlier, it depends on the person, and like when you like the stuff you said about how you look at the real world, I'm just like, yeah,
This guy
that's
is
just
unreliable.
that's just childish. I'm not gonna look at it
Wow.
like that.
Wow.
And I know Ray knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Baba's just not a credible source. He's just like so biased.
Yeah, very biased.
Yeah, man. And it comes back around because he's the person that like just like gave anime a bad name in general because he's just Naruto running through the hallways. And shit, like,
Nonsense. But it's true that I held these notions in my head, but I never like acted on them. Which I thought it didn't matter as long as I didn't. As long as I kept it to myself, it wasn't that big.
but
of a
like you
deal.
don't keep it to your like you don't keep it to yourself. Like you allow anime to like change the way you act like in the real world.
What's an example of that?
Like there's just so many examples that it's hard to like define.
Just name one. I want to just for one.
But it's like
Enlighten our viewers or listeners, please.
guys, like in training, like how many times has Baba done something weird and everyone's just like that's because he watches anime.
The Naruto run.
Yeah,
And be honest with you.
the Naruto run is just like such like a firm example. In my
That's like satirical almost.
You know what I also
Mm.
think? If you were to see something like cool happen in an anime soccer show, you would honestly try to do it.
Oh
Bro,
yeah, in pickup when he tries to like score something from like a crazy or stupid angle, and he's like, oh, it was like blue lock, like I wanted to have the ego, I have to be a striker. Ah. Yeah, what is that?
But in that defense, though, when we last played, that one play we had in the volley, thanks to your pass, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That was a normal one though.
Dang.
Like Baba values like how cool it is
The
instead of
aesthetic.
like scoring the actual goal. How often does like do we lose like just like in a pickup game just because Baba's like, no, like I want it to be cool, no.
No, so that's so many times. That's
So many
actually
times.
Dang, I'm just a liability.
No, I mean
Do I need to get subbed?
like low key, like
Low key, bro.
I mean you can stay on for now, but it's not looking good for you, man.
Yeah, you gotta go, bro. You
I
gotta
think
go.
I need a sub.
Oh,
Cause I always thought like, because of my like investment in anime, it's almost as if that gives me the most credibility to even speak on it. But it's clear it's just a double-edged
yeah,
sword.
you're just too swayed, man.
It's just poisoned me.
You just gotta get off the pitch, mate.
Not balanced enough.
I'll get subbed then.
Yeah, man.
Let's sub.
Get off the pitch, man.
Sub.
What's up, weeaboos?
Welcome, Trevor.
So
Welcome,
from
Trevor.
everything you've been hearing, do you have any takes you wanted to say? Or?
All right. Well, first off, let me give you all my anime journey. So my adventures with anime began my sophomore year of college. I'm a junior right now, just for reference. And my first anime, as Baba mentioned before, was Kuroko's Basketball. And Saku, just ask me if I liked it.
Did you like it?
No, not at all. Genuinely one of the worst, most boring, most outlandish shows I guess it was a movie that I have ever watched in my life.
Movie?
I
It
literally,
was a movie?
yes, it was a movie.
Oh my.
I sat through an hour and a half long movie to watch one mediocre basketball game. And as Ray mentioned beforehand, it was just the most the last 2 minutes of the game legitimately took 45 minutes of the movie. Like every single pass was like going in slow mo and having these crazy graphics. Just terrible. Like I was genuinely this close to falling asleep. Like and just horrible. And so then I was like, okay, like sure. Like 0 for 1, it was Baba that recommended it, so like it probably wasn't gonna be great from the jump. So one day I was like just chilling in my room with one of my roommates that watches anime. He was watching Demon Slayer, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give it a chance. I'll just hop into a random episode, give it a chance. Watched for 30 minutes, and I legitimately just watched 3 people ride on a train. Nothing, like no action happened at all. Like just it was genuinely.
So-
I would have been better off just going to the MARTA station, sitting down,
Wow.
and watching 3 people.
Okay, so
Like,
so for animes, you want there to be a lot of action.
Yes,
You
but like,
prefer that.
Yes, but like within reason. Like the over the top thing just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Like
No, I feel you.
and also another massive gripe that I have with anime, just kind of going hand in hand with the over the top thing, is like sure, let's say something cool happens, the dialogue is so corny. It is the cheesiest dialogue. Anime dialogue is to me what Machine Gun Kelly is to rap.
Oh
Just a straight cornball.
Oh my god.
Like
That's crazy.
That is my take, and I will stick to it no matter what.
You see, this is all Baba's fault.
Yeah.
You know, because like if he just introduced him to the right anime at first, maybe he wouldn't like it, but his feelings wouldn't be this strong about it.
Exactly.
Machine Gun Kelly,
It's insane.
that's insane.
See, okay, and so one thing that Ray mentioned earlier that I've been thinking about just while I've been off to the side is kind of like somebody I am somebody that has grown up on and watched only Western media for my entire life. And so I was kind of thinking like, oh, like Ray said, like if you're only used to Western media, like this adjustment to like Japanese culture
Yeah.
is such a shock. And I do agree with that. And so to kind of like, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on this because I think that a really cool piece of like intersectionality between that that I've seen and I absolutely love is Alice in Borderland.
Okay.
So I don't know if y'all have seen Alice in Borderland, but
I have.
it's a Japanese-made show, but it is like live action.
Okay.
So like it's real people, and still some of the things that I really don't like with anime, like some of the monologues were just like really, really, really cheesy. Like some of the dialogue was not great, but I love the show. I absolutely love the storyline. Like I love a ton of elements about the show. But I don't know. Whenever it's in a mediocre cartoon, it just doesn't do it for me.
So because there's an animated version of it, would you have watched it?
I would like from the jump, like before I watched the live action.
Like if the anime was as popular as the live action, would you have given it a try?
After watching the show, yes. Before I watched it, like before the live action one, no, I wouldn't have.
So did you know about like when Attack on Titan came out? Did you hear about all the hype around it and how much people were watching it? Did you hear anything about that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? No. Because like I was saying, if you did, it would have been like, would you have gave that a try and all that? But
I mean, not realistically. Like, I'm kind of like, I've given it 2 shots. Like maybe that's not enough, but those 2 shots went so poorly.
I think it's just like
that
unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I think now you need to watch something that's just top tier to kind of save your like perspective of it. So like if you ever give it another chance, which I think you should, you should watch something that's like so top tier that like you won't have this strong of a judgment. So maybe like an Attack on Titan, maybe.
But Attack on Titan, it can be slow sometimes. But as you go on, the story is insane.
Okay, let me ask you, how many episodes are in Attack on Titan?
80 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nowhere near as many as I thought. So I just know that there's some animes that have like a disgusting number of episodes.
No.
Yeah.
And so like that's another thing that I'm kind of like, okay, like I personally value quality over quantity, like any day of the week. So one of my favorite shows is The Office. Like I absolutely love The
I
Office.
love The Office.
And so if The Office like had 50 episode seasons, like I know for a fact that I would not love it anywhere near as much because like the quality would just automatically come down because the writer's room, I mean, you can't keep up with 50 episodes.
How many episodes are in? I haven't watched it, but I know about it. But how many episodes are in the season?
It's like 8 seasons.
Yeah,
the
8
first 5
seasons.
were like 23 episodes, and then it shortened down because Michael Scott left.
Okay.
Something like that. So I mean, there's still like a decent amount, but like I just know that there have been some animes that, and like that's the episode that I watched of Demon Slayer. Is like what my roommate told me was like, oh, it's just a filler, like it's just a filler.
Oh.
But I'm like okay, like realistically, like I don't want to watch a show that like has fillers. Like what I look for in a show is like quality in every single episode. And if it doesn't have that, then like I mean, what's the point of even making a filler episode?
Because like in Attack on Titan, there's no filler episodes. You have to watch every episode because every episode has a story. Like, it continues the story. So, but when I was thinking of like when you said there's no action in that Demon Slayer show, I was thinking like, what if you just watched God of High School? Like the story makes no sense at the end of the day, but the fighting is cool. It's cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you. So that's another like so the animation style of anime, right? I don't like it.
You don't like the?
I don't like it.
Have
at
you seen
all.
a Naruto
Like-
fight before? Like just them going hand in hand combat, just moving.
Like,
I mean,
there's no anime that you've seen where it's like, all right, this is
The fight was
like
just
visually
crazy.
nice.
just
There-
straight
There
hand.
hasn't been. And okay, I will say I haven't like looked. Like I haven't gone out of my way to like look for like an epic anime fight.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that is because of Baba. Like I remember, I distinctly remember coming back from I think we were at VMI, and I remember Baba playing anime music and like going into a verbal battle with one of our teammates.
Yeah.
I was just like sitting on the bus and I was just like, this is so lame. Like, what am I actually watching right now?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's another reason that like contributes to me thinking like, okay, the dialogue is just so corny. Like the fact that they say like corny things, and I trust Baba. Like, I bet Baba was saying things from actual shows. He wasn't just like making it up off the dome. And I was just like, yeah, like if I heard that during an actual fight scene, I would like that would take me out of it because it's so unrealistic, you know.
For me, when I ever hear corny stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I mean, it was a little corny. But if I heard that in real life, I think it's even like cringier. But since it was animated and it's just not real, I kind of let it slide. So
See,
I don't know.
I guess I don't think that my threshold for letting it slide is like as high as yours. Like if I hear something corny, like I'm gonna call that out. And like also the way that I look at it, the corny dialogue from anime is something that like 7-year-old Trevor would be like, oh, like that was tough, like that was hard. But like, I can't in a good mind think like 20-year-old Trevor can say like, oh, that was tough. If like 7-year-old Trevor thought something was tough, like 7-year-old Trevor, again, like bringing it back to rap, loved Eminem, like loved Eminem. 20-year-old Trevor, like mom spaghetti, like that is so lame. Like that is not hard at all. So I don't know. I think that like my threshold for that is just so far gone. Yeah, like it's too tight, and like I can't let some of the things that happen in anime like slide.
Yeah. So like, last year was your first time watching any type of anime?
Yeah.
I think like if you watch it when you're younger, you probably like it more. Cause like when I started when I was 11, Ray, you started when you're how old?
I don't even know, bro.
You know, you're young.
Yeah, like super young.
Most people that like anime started watching when they were young, except for like one of our other teammates, Grant. Like,
yeah,
we just kind of put him on and he just messed with it. But
yeah, and I mean, like again, like I am like one of those kids that like if I knew that you watched anime in high school or like middle school, like I would lay into you a little bit.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't necessarily like bully you, but like I would like lay into you. And so, yeah, I do think, like, very much to an extent, like, my mindset from the jump has been, like, no, like, anime is whack. Like, I won't give it a chance. Which, again, like, I realize, like, I need to change that. Like, I need to at least give something a chance. And so then, in doing so, I would be more educated on it. But, like, again, just, like, some of the qualities that I've named, I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to be able to get behind this.
And all of these points, they just go back to Baba.
Yeah.
They just go back to Baba.
Because he doesn't have that
like,
balance.
Like he just ruined it at the end of the day. He highlighted the poor dialogue. He showed just how it can negatively influence someone's behavior. And at the end of the day, like we need people like Baba to enjoy the anime, but like in a way that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That way it could be like more like widely accepted.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like going back to when we talked about what someone's first anime should be. Clearly, Baba gave him the wrong anime.
Yeah.
And that's why the first anime matters so much.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
Because if it's like, I went back, I saw like a clip of Hunter x Hunter, and it was just so slow. Like me now, I could not watch it again.
Yeah.
It was just so slow. Dialogue was so long. But like if you watch it for your first time, like if you were younger, if you watch it for your first time, you would like it more. But as an older, I don't think an older person could watch Hunter x Hunter.
That's the same. Like I totally agree. That's how I feel about Dragon Ball, and that's how I feel about like part 1 of Naruto. It's like it's just like so slow that there's no way. It's especially people who have things to do. Like you can't be watching that. That's why I was thinking like maybe the best anime, because I don't know if Attack on Titan would be your thing, but I think it may be either Attack on Titan to save your like view of anime or Death Note. Like, have you ever heard of Death Note?
Okay, I'll watch. Death Note has a live like movie. Like,
do not watch. That movie was so bad.
Okay, so I watched that movie. so I watched that movie
on your own accord.
I'm sorry.
On your own accord, no one told you to.
I think so. I think it was just like myself, or maybe it was just like on TV. And I was like, okay, like why not? I need something to watch. And yeah, not great. Like, not great. Oh my.
You never watch like a live action adaptation of an anime. It's never good.
Like
it's never good.
Like with Bleach. Do you know what Bleach is?
I mean, I guess that's what's on Baba's shirt.
Yeah.
To wash clothes.
Okay. that the show was amazing, but the live action.
It's so bad.
Terrible.
so like for instance, there's this thing called Dragon Ball Evolution, right? So like Dragon Ball Z, the main character is like an alien warrior, right? And like he starts off being raised in the woods, and he becomes a martial artist, and like he goes through like this like journey where he starts off being like the weakest, and he becomes like admirable by like gods and like deities, right? That's like Dragon Ball Z. The live adaptation turned him into a high school student that was getting bullied. You see how far removed, like, so you gotta give actual Death Note a chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in those, like, whenever it gets transitioned from anime to like live action, right? Does it become bad because, like you said, like they changed the story up so
Yeah.
much? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
And then also just like you can't do some of the things in anime with like at the time the technology to do like CGI and the effects like the Avatar movie, like have you seen that one, the live action,
the blue
like,
or the like
Avatar: The Last Airbender? Did you see the live action like adaptation of that?
I can't remember.
Okay. That was so bad because like them dealing with all the elements and stuff, they couldn't actually make that happen for like CGI. So like for instance, like they would do like a big like movement where like they're supposed to like raise a mountain, but then like in the live action it's like a pebble that like travels fast. So it's like it's terrible in that way. So you cannot watch like live action adaptations.
Okay, so let me ask you all this. Let's just say like there was an anime that they made into a live action, right? But they like had it a completely like perfect transition. Like they like everything that was in the anime happened in the live action and like seamlessly. Do you think that like as we've kind of talked about like that over dramatization, if that's a word, like do you think that would work like in that live action setting, or like do you think that would take you out just because it's not like a cartoon anymore?
I think it depends on the show. 'Cause some shows have like less of like that dramatic stuff. Some shows have more, but and like if it was like a show with a lot of fighting, and they did the fighting in live action, it would just look so much slower. It would just wouldn't look that good. Like if they did Naruto and then one of the fights was just like quick hand-to-hand combat, like you can't do that. It's gonna be too slow. It's gonna look boring. You're not really gonna like it. So and if it was like from the anime, they just took a chunk of it and just made it live action, it would just be even worse.
But then it also depends on the acting, because like there are some times where like we were talking about the dialogue and how it's delivered. Like sometimes there's over dramatic lines in like real life movies. Like you guys remember 300? Like this is Sparta, like that, like big. That was super dramatic, but it's still one of the greatest lines ever delivered in like movie history. So I mean, I guess you would have to just get like insane actors to like be able to deliver any of these anime lines. But I don't think that would be possible. I think it would be more akin to what's been happening.
Yeah, but like with the whole animated live action thing, like for like manga readers, people would love the manga, right? And then the anime would come out and people just shit on it. Like they don't like it at all because from manga to anime, since it's gonna be on TV, they have to cut so much stuff out, like make it like maybe less gory and all that. Sometimes they change the story. Like for example, this one anime called The Promised Neverland.
Oh yeah.
It was supposed to be way longer, and they cut it short and just skipped a whole bunch of stuff, went straight to the thing. Or Seven Deadly Sins. The animation was like
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and then the blood was white. So like for manga readers, from manga to anime, sometimes they don't like it. But like from anime to live action, it just as it goes down, it gets worse, right? It just gets even worse. So like that's why live actions are just so bad. They're just terrible.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that you ended up watching the Death Note like live action. I think you saw the so you watch it. You saw like the monster, like the Shinigami that followed the main character.
You think it looked cool?
No.
Yeah,
You didn't think it was scary at all?
No, I didn't. I thought I was.
I was like, it looks kind of cool. I kind of mess with him, but
I don't know. And you know what? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that this is shifting gears a little bit, but we need to take some of the stick off of Baba. Like, you are most certainly responsible for like anime fans. The amount of times that I've just been like at practice trying to like focus, and then I just hear like "Bakarayo." Like,
Okay, well,
I
do it as a joke.
That's
though.
so true.
I do it as a
That's
joke.
so
I'm not.
true.
I'm not serious.
No,
okay, I don't know if
no.
it's a joke. with you,
I'll literally be like in my room doing homework, and then like the door will open, and then it'll just be like Oni-chan. It's just like, oh my god, Saku's here. Oh my
Bro,
god.
I just do it for like shits and giggles, bro. I mean, okay, well.
But you still give anime fans a bad
Yeah,
rap.
yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like you owe everybody an apology.
So it's like
I'm.
I don't know. So I guess it's kind of like both Saku and Baba's fault in a way.
But like, yeah, I do it like that. But I think Baba's worse because
Okay.
when it comes down to recommendation and talking about it, sometimes Baba can be a little more like on the wrong side of it. So
Okay. I'm gonna challenge that because your recommendations are some of the worst
bro,
recommendations
but they're
I've
jokes.
ever heard of in
Like
my
they're
life.
jokes. Like,
No.
Like
You
what?
told somebody to watch Redo of Healer. And I
That's
don't
a
know.
joke.
No,
That's a joke.
mate. You're about to get subbed off, honestly.
Bro,
because,
it's
Nah,
not-
just
because,
get off.
no,
Just
get off. Get off. Get off.
Alright.
Get off. I'm tired of him. You know what? And whenever Baba comes back on, I want to tackle a serious subject. Like, I just want to see how far gone Baba is.
How's it going, Baba?
How's it going,
Well,
folks?
welcome back, man.
Thank you. I'm
Glad
happy
to have
to,
you on the pitch, man.
to be back. It's good. It's real.
Okay, Baba. So the portrayal of women in anime
Oh my
is
god.
one that I find problematic.
Wow.
Okay. All too often, and I don't know if this is just because of how Saku does voices when saying like "sussy baka," like things like that, or what. But I find women to be sexualized to the nth degree in anime. Is this true, or is this just a myth?
Okay, well, I have to be very honest with you on this topic, and I have to admit, like, anime like your typical show will most definitely, like, as you can see with the dialogue, seems to be like over dramatized. Like physical appearances are also very much over dramatized, and because like it's animation, like there can essentially be like no bounds to how far they can push it, which is like I'm sure like a lot of shows actually have gotten like flack for that. Like for example, like I think this one show like Uzaki-chan Just Wants to Hang Out because that.
So what?
Bro, I'm trying to keep it serious, but you just
No, bro.
Okay,
But,
so
like-
Uzaki-chan just wants to hang out.
Yes, bro. Like that show, bro. Forgive me. That show got like a lot of flack because like there's this like college student with like overly dramatized breasts and just like why is that even like necessary? And like I definitely agree. Like a lot of those like some animes are just like doing far too much. Like there's just really just no need for that. But like I don't really know how to like combat it because like a lot of shows. That's why you hear things like fan service. Like a lot of shows can have like an abysmal plot and just be like a joke really, but because they have like overly sexualized characters, it will like keep them like relevant. For example, like what's it called? I'm trying to think of one. Like even kind of like Seven Deadly Sins.
Mhm.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
like I remember one time it really took my mom like calling me out because I was like downstairs just like watching like season 1 when it's actually good
God.
and like bro some outlandish stuff just happens and it's like I just feel like I feel like a and then like a water ball just comes flying hits me in the back of my head. I'm just so confused. I'm like whoa what's going on here? But like I'm forced to kind of pause and like think back and like oh dang like that's kind of a lot. But I admit like as a result of my this deep involvement with this anime, like it's very easy for me to just like overlook that because it's just like everywhere.
So you think you give your mom a bad view on anime too?
Hey man, as far as she's concerned, every anime is called Naruto. So,
That's true. That's true.
You
My
feel me?
mom thinks every anime is called Naruto.
So it's like there's no hope there. But hey, man, all the power to her. But like even I remember it now. Food Wars, bro. If you want to see fan service, watch that show. And I remember people saying, "Oh no, it's good, it's good." I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes of episode 1.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, bro, you're having an orgasm by eating food. Like it just, and you really know how dramatic they can make a basketball game, bro.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. No. It's,
So I guess that's like another, cause okay, like the damn, I'm about to sound like a great guy, but like the over sexualization of like women in anime, like I feel like it almost like blurs that line between like anime and hentai,
oh my god.
you know, and so like I just like I don't know, like I don't know.
Interesting. Now I gotta be honest, man. I'm not very well versed in the hentai realm, but we do have somebody who is. Do we still go back on just for this topic?
No. No. Dude, are we being for real right now?
Hey, man. Well, nah, we can't.
I mean, all right, let's think of it. Like, in this topic, he's the star player. So, like, he's got to be on the pitch during this moment. I think I'm willing to let the star player shine in this moment. So we can make that stuff happen.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the hentai hour with Saku.
All right. I know about Star Play, right? only one I've watched was Rido of Healer. He was a healer, right? And he was used by, like the princess and like some of her knights and whatever. He was used by them, and they would do all these bad things to him sexually, and he was tired of it. So he did a plan to go back in time, and then he got them back for everything they did, right? So I was like, oh shoot, he's fine for that, for getting them back for everything they did. Like, it wasn't in a good, like, it was kind of, because, he was raping them and all that, getting them back.
That's horrendous.
And then he would, like, change their, like, who they were, so they would be on his side. And then he just kept doing that to more people and getting them back. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of... I watched one episode, and I was like, oh, shoot. I just got through an episode, and there's no sex. And at the very last 10 seconds, they're doing that. I'm like, if there wasn't any stuff like that in it, or if it was, like, more blurred out, as in, like, not like, just blurred, but, like, they didn't really show it, I think it was a cool little filler show
But you see,
to watch.
but that's where like the distinction is made, Trevor, for anime and hentai. Hentai is like uncensored, and there's no like fan service. It's straight up pornography that's animated. That's like the distinction, really, which is why like honestly, like I'm saying, like I detest porn, like I detest hentai as well, because it's just like you can't. It takes a special person to really consume that and like enjoy it, but people have their habits. You are a free moral agent. Do as you will. However, like I feel like it's very ignorant to just kind of. But maybe it's not your fault, but to like kind of have that line be blurred. But I can definitely see why, because like the over-sexualization of a woman in anime. But hentai is like completely different because there's no like censoring. It just is what it is. So like, I highly recommend like avoiding it, because there's really no plot that can kind of like back up that type of behavior, in my opinion. And that's kind of why you even have shows like your like what's the genre called, like your seinens or whatever, like your your berserks, your main abyss, your more like heavy hitting like series that deal with more like
Emotional?
like the dark side of the humanity's issues. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I feel like anime can just do so much, just because it's I don't know, man. I don't know. There's definitely like, but that's why I can't really like. I see what you're trying to say, Saku,
Yeah.
and like because I've seen so much anime, I can like understand what you're trying to do. But like, but you can see how like to like a non-viewer like Trevor or like someone who's just like purely outrageous.
Yeah.
And like I can understand why it's like outrageous. That's kind of just why like it's definitely like a slippery slope. It just different. It definitely is. That's why it's really important to like. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like when it came out, there's 2 episodes out, and my friend like sent me a tweet about it. I was like, oh shoot, what is this? Actually, everybody was talking about it, and you have to watch it on YouTube because you couldn't watch it anywhere else. So, and then people were reacting to it on YouTube and all that. So like, oh, it's pretty popular. So like, I gave it a try. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I was like, that was my first time ever watching stuff like that. So I was like, why not watch a little more, see how it is. But after that, I never really watched anything else like that.
So you were purely watching it just for like the storyline and like just for the plot.
I was kind of like interested on how he would get everyone back.
Okay.
Right. Like everything else was kind of like, oh shoot, that happened. It was kind of weird and whatnot. But it happened for like 20 seconds out of the show. Move on.
I mean, see, but that's the thing though. Like, it's like for an anime viewer, it's very easy to like move on past what we see.
Yeah.
Like,
if it was a non-viewer,
like
that would be crazy.
Attack on Titan, it's actually quite gruesome. It's very, very gruesome of a show to watch. But like, for me, it's so easy to like push past all that, just because like I'm just so used to seeing like shows
All the
like
animes
that.
and stuff.
So for me, it's like I don't like blink twice about like someone being like devoured, because like this is what happens in Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Can we really ever like reach an understanding almost of like
On most animes.
no, just like understanding of like, because okay, just for example, I remember one time I was like doing this like random thing online, and it's like anime out of context, and like one thingy was like princess loses her voice and has to like I think kill White Rabbit to like regain her like sense of being, and like that just honestly that makes no sense. Like what is going on there?
Yeah.
Like what the heck is that? But it's literally that's like an oversimplification of like one of the Fate series spin-offs.
Oh.
Like so it's like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like
Like-
Fate is like a good anime.
It's good.
You feel me? So it's just like I don't know. It's just very it appeals to different people in a very interesting
like,
way. I don't know if we can even really.
I saw a video about like stuff like that, just oversimplifying like animes, and then sometimes just play with my brother, like see if we can guess what it is, and like if people saw those and were like, why would I ever watch this? Because it's simplified that much, and like, yeah, I mean, like sometimes it's actually really good.
Okay, so while we're on some heavy hitting topics, right? I want to get y'all's thoughts on like representation in anime. So are there any like black characters in anime?
There
Fire
are.
Force.
There
So that's actually
Fire
a
Force
really
is a
good.
one.
That's a really good question, because like I realized that like not like only like recently with like the new gen animations, like you really wouldn't see like black characters or like different race characters in like some of your like big action popular shows. Like it's all like very like stereotypical like
Light skinned people,
yeah.
lighter skinned people, and whatnot.
So it wasn't really until like this like recent, I don't know, 5 or so years that like you've seen more representation in
Like
anime.
in Attack on Titan, there's one black character in there, and like even in the show, they ask, "Why does your skin look like that?" So, and then like in Dragon Ball Z, they have a black character that's like their face is literally black and their lips are big and pink.
Yeah, like
So like blackface.
Yeah. Oh yeah, essentially.
Then they have another one. He's green. He's Piccolo. He's green. There are black characters in shows, but they're not black or light skinned. They're like
And it
it's
wasn't
a different
until
color, but you can
recently.
tell they're black.
But it wasn't really until recently that we used to see black characters. Besides like Bleach, I think like I will actually rate Bleach so highly because forever they've shown different representation like across like decades for like their shows. I think that's really like incredible. And it's not like like beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, fair skinned person, but they like show beauty in different ways in their like animation styles with characters like what's the man, I don't remember the character's name. But the cat.
Damn. Oh,
I don't
what's her
know her
name?
name.
Yorichi.
Yeah, Yorichi. Like that's just so cool. Like they show like the beauty of people in different ways, which is why it's like so like fascinating. It really doesn't to this recent like half a decade or so that you've been to like see that with like Fire Force, like I don't remember his name, but like the one kid in like I think like Squad 4.
Oh yeah, that
He's fire, right?
He's so fire.
He's fire, right? But like stuff like that, like it's cool. So yeah, but that's definitely. I don't know. I feel like just like as time's going on, like as everyone's trying to be more inclusive, like even like anime trying to do that too, which is pretty astounding.
But like the black characters being like animes wasn't really a thought of mine. Like if I saw them, like oh that's cool, but other than that, I didn't really care about it because I was just watching it for the show and whatnot. So yeah.
Because I think that's just something that like popped into my mind whenever y'all were like discussing earlier, and I was like off to the side, just kind of like being able to not necessarily like relate to an anime, but like having something to like for a lack of a better terminology, like look up to, and like something to take from the show, like so I was just kind of curious if there was like a main character like in an anime that triumphed, and like if he was black, would that like almost like
More of an appeal.
have it like hit closer to home, or like
That's very interesting. Honestly, I've never really thought of that because I've never I guess really during the times when anime was like most like impactful for me, like there weren't any really like black characters that just like I want to like strive to be like that almost. That's kind of I think that could be very well why I'm more like entranced by the notion of just having like an overarching message that I can just get behind. Like that is how I will attain value. What you're like promoting me to try and do, if it's like virtuous or not. Not so much that like, oh, because you look like me, like I will strive to be like something.
Yeah.
But that's just me personally. So go like what do you?
I mean, like, I don't think it would affect me that much, but I think it would be something like cool to watch. A back character being the main character. But I was just thinking about what's his name, Jaden Smith. Didn't he have an anime?
I didn't watch it, but
Me
I know
neither.
it's
Me
on,
neither.
It's on
And he was a
Netflix.
black character. And I was like, it just doesn't look good, so I just didn't watch it. So I mean, I don't know.
So yeah, and like obviously like I'm not trying to say like, oh, this is how y'all should feel.
Yeah.
Like, but like just as like as like a white man, like I don't really like kind of get to see that. Like I feel like there have been a countless number of shows that like the main character is a white male, and so like I was just kind of like curious to get y'all's take on that.
Cause like in Japan, you're not gonna see black people.
Yeah.
For real. So that's why there's not any black characters in any of the animes for real. Cause they're not really in Japan. And if they were, it's rare. And then people like sometimes look at them kind of weird. But yeah, so stuff like that. It's not really like a big deal or anything, but it's cool to see it.
Yeah.
It's cool to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Angel, what are your thoughts so far about, say, just from what you've been hearing in regards to like anime compared to like hentai and like the over sexualization of like women in anime, like much as they're trying to promote, like just what does hearing all this make you think as like just a non-partisan viewer?
Oh no, because I'm on the same boat as Trevor. I tried watching it. I tried again. I think last year I tried with Bubba. I tried watching Baki. It was too over like dramatic.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I don't know. It's just like making up stuff like about how your teeth grind, so that means you're a harder worker. I was like, okay.
Okay.
I was like, okay, and I was like, yeah. And then I think at one point I almost fell asleep when I was watching it, and I don't know. I just don't feel like I like that genre of entertainment.
So like, we like the hentai thing, like like 360. Wait, no, what's it called? 365 days. What's it called?
The
And
Netflix
then-
show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
Netflix.
movie.
And what's the other one? 300.
Oh, I thought
50
you
Shades of
Or
Grey.
like Too Hot to Handle, or like
No.
like shows or
The movie.
Oh,
With the dude that
50
kidnapped the
Shades-
girl.
50 Shades of Grey, I think.
Fif-
Is that what it is?
Okay,
365
okay. If you're trying to like find an example, like I think that, and like so as a team, like we would like watch Euphoria together,
Yeah.
and I remember specifically like one time Ray like watched it with us, and he was like, no, like I can't get behind like the over sexualization of like high schoolers, And so I think that would be like a really good show to kind of combat like my point is like I loved Euphoria, like absolutely loved the show, but like and so I guess like I let that slide, but like for what, you know, like
okay.
and so and that's really like an answer that I don't have. Like I can't tell you like, oh, why was like this form of like sexualization like okay in my eyes, but like whenever it comes to anime, like I can't get behind it, and like I don't know, that's something that like I really don't have the answer to.
Yeah, like one thing when you said about the over sexualization of high schoolers, I thought like High School DxD. Like I never watched it. I remember I like paused the first episode one time, like was like this is so dumb. I stopped watching it, but like I know people that have watched it, and it's like they finish it and it said, oh, the plot was good. And I'm like,
What plot?
yeah, I'm trying to figure out what kind of plot is in there. But I mean, you could say the same thing when I watched Radio Healer. But yeah, like these women, and he has like to get powered up or something. He has to like touch the other woman in a sexual way to get his powers. And I'm like, all right, that's that. And I know.
I don't know. The only like explanation that I can really think of is like in those cartoons, like that's all you're shown is like a high schooler, but like with like those live action shows, like, and I think that this might be like kind of part of the reason why like I like live action shows more is like, okay, I know like that's an actor, like that's not actually a high schooler, like that is like a full grown actor who is like very far out of high school, like just playing the role. So I don't know, like that's the only like really kind of thought that I had for that, but
Interesting. No, because like, so I think for me it was like it's like easy for me to kind of like essentially overlook the sexualization of like different characters in anime, either male or female. Because even in like Seven Deadly Sins, like their male characters are like overly like pants are way too low. And we also like bicep sizes and stuff like that. And just because to me, what it boils down to is I just see that as like a medium to convey a message. Like, because like end of the day, guys, it's a cartoon. Like, it doesn't really have an age. It doesn't really like have like thoughts, feelings, anything like that. End of the day, it's simply just a cartoon.
I don't know if this is the right mouth it should be coming out of.
I mean, but like,
see,
hey man, but that's like how I can like just because you can see my own biases. How like when it suits me, then I want to like bring it down to like reality. So like, I mean, I'm aware of that, but like that's just how I can like get past that. Because at the end of the day, when I want it to be, I guess it's just I'm a medium to convey a message.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I see that.
yeah, guys.
Ray, you got anything else? Want to sub back in?
Nah, just hop in, bro.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey man,
Just
sub in, Brody.
Is Trevor's hating hour come to an end? See you later, weeaboos.
Hey guys,
Well, welcome back, Ray.
thanks. I feel welcome. That hentai conversation was kind of crazy, guys,
Yep.
and it's cool. I don't know if I agree with your points.
Which points?
The revenge thing, like, kind of being like a way that it's like justified.
I think I only said that because it's a cartoon.
Okay.
Because it's anime.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
it is in no way acceptable. But because it was animated, I really didn't care.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna say I support it, but like,
Yeah.
at that point,
So it's almost like the overcorrection for like Naruto kind of, because Naruto is like, oh, Gaara's killing people but he loves his mom and like he's had a hard life, so like it's okay. But like I guess in Redo of Healer, as you explained to us earlier, it's like, well, it happened to him, so it's okay for him to do it to other people.
Yeah.
It's like he's getting his justice essentially, but like
is he getting the right justice?
not even that. It's just kind of that's why like I like it, bro. I will stick to it. Naruto is just such like a great show to watch because like at the end of the day, it's just promoting you. Like you don't have to do what's being done to you. Because at the end of the day, guys, like how someone treats you is none of your business. Because like you just can't control that. What you can control is how you react to it and how you treat others. So that's why like I feel like Naruto or like anime does a very brilliant job of showing like the depths of how I guess, a being can suffer and how they can overcome it. So it's almost like, though it's like fictional, you can aspire to do the same. As almost like to like breed hope, because hope can't really be like explained. You just have it. I feel like.
Wait, I feel like I like disagree with that like almost entirely.
Really?
Yeah,
I do
because Naruto let other people affect his entire life. Like he was bullied and completely changed his life trajectory, like simply because of the way people felt about him. And then like Sasuke, his whole thing was about revenge. So like, and then like also, like, it can also be like portrayed as an underdog story of like, yeah, you can rise above your circumstances, but then at the end, like, they're just like the reincarnations of like the deities in their universe. I don't know. I feel like it can be kind of portrayed or like perceived in different ways, but yeah, a bad message can be really got there because Naruto really just let other people kind of sway his journey.
I mean, but he didn't let it be swayed like extremely in a negative way. Because like bro, people like life is like a cooperative project. You can't do it alone. So yes, people are gonna like have their impacts on you for better or for worse. But I'm saying like as bad as it could have been for him, he made the best out of it. So I'm kind of saying. Like he like, persevered through it, even though like
that's
like, technically he had like the position to like be like the strongest character ever.
Yeah,
it's like the incarnation. But like that's kind of what I was trying to really go.
Okay, yeah, that's valid.
I don't know, man. I feel like in real life you could kind of control people, like how they act towards you, just by like the way you dress, the way you act,
take care of yourself,
the way you dress. Again,
I think that
because
like,
I feel like you wear a lot of anime stuff. And I feel like it's almost like a little kid that loves a character.
But why would I allow some perception of me to impact like how I want to perceive my life? You know what I'm saying? Like for me,
But
like
that's what I'm saying.
when I see somebody like,
people,
but you really can't though.
you can.
You see, to me that's honestly kind of vanity to believe you can control how someone like perceives you. You can try and project off to them the best you want, but like you'll never know what someone's like actually thinking of you.
I think
So
he's
why
talking about
bother?
like controlling by like prevention.
Yeah.
So like for instance, if you just wore like a completely black shirt in
Or a
that
suit.
outfit,
Let's say if
yeah.
you wore a suit, how are you gonna approach a dude in a suit versus how are you gonna approach a guy in like sweats that fit him all the way like up here and then like a pink like girly shirt. He's a guy. You're gonna approach him in a completely different way.
I suppose so, yeah.
I think he's thinking
But,
like he's talking about a way of like how you portray yourself and like that in that way you can alter the way people perceive you. And like I think you're talking about a matter of like I'm free to express myself in whatever way I find fit, so like why should it even matter how people perceive me because I can't control that anyways.
I mean, I don't want to really be that extreme with it, but like it's more so as in like you really. I guess you can like affect it, yes, but you can't. When I'm saying control, I mean as in like 100% what you're deciding is the way it's going to be solely because that's what you want it to be. Like no one has that control over other people. Even honestly, no one has that control over themselves. Because like we all have our habits that we're like not proud of. Like maybe I want to like wake up earlier, or I wish I would stop like procrastinating. So like that's kind of what I was going with there. As in, like,
Okay.
You don't have perfect control over yourself, so I can even like hope that's perfect control over like someone else. That's what I meant by that statement.
I get that. Yeah, on the topic of you guys are talking about the over sexualization of like women in anime. That I feel like that's like just so unnecessary, and I'm so glad that Trevor brought up that point. Like, I honestly feel it's so refreshing when there's like a strong like female character in an anime who's just like not getting sexualized, and it's so rare. And why do you guys think that is? Like, do you think it has to do with like Japanese culture or like what? What do you guys think?
I think like when they put it, they just want more people to look at it, more views and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's like the audience they're trying to attract. can't really say why they put it. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I
'cause
can't really
sometimes they
speak-
don't really need it.
Yeah, no, I really can't speak for why it's like there, but like honestly, no, of course I can. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like sex sells,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Oh.
with like Western society, we have like our beauty standards, like certain underlying like notions of the shows like Love Island, like Too Hot to Handle, shows kind of like that. Like, why are they popular? Really? Is it really because well, then if it's really about like the story of like finding love, why is everyone like a model? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's sex sells, like, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to sell their product the best that they can. So
I
like,
get
why use something that like, why not just use something that like they know will work, which is why I think that exists. But I agree, it's very interesting to like,
Yeah.
like in Jujutsu Kaisen, like what's her name, Nobara?
Yeah,
Whatever?
yeah,
Like she's literally a good character because she's a good character.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that's like really cool to see. Even
Mhm.
like Mikasa and like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Annie even. I'm an Annie.
Or Yorichi.
You see what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
good characters, not because like their appearances, because like they're good characters. That's
Yeah.
all there's to it, and like that's very refreshing. It's very very cool.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in Bleach, that one squad lieutenant, girl with the orange hair. With,
Toshiro's lieutenant.
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I remember.
Like, her
Like,
name is
she-
Rangiku.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has like
She-
big breasts and like sometimes be over a little sexualized or whatever.
But they even have her character like use that though too.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
so that's also like, so that's how you know they're trying to do like the sex sells thing, because her demeanor is very like
Mm-hmm.
seductive and whatnot, or like
Mhm.
playful, but like
Yeah,
like bro, women have features, men have features, like that's just part of what it is.
yeah.
But like
We don't need to over exaggerate.
yeah, you don't really need to do that much. And that's why, like you said, it's really cool to see shows where it's like they have a woman who's simply a woman, but she's like great because she's like of her like intrinsic value she's bringing to the show.
And I think another point, like, just from the point of just like overall character design, which will like kind of like answer Trevor's question about the necessity of like women being depicted some ways in like just like anime, and it's really like overall like just drawn or animated media in general, because it also happens in Western media, because like there's a like distinct way that you have to like draw like people in order to make them look older or younger, right? So like the way they did it in like Pixar, for example, would be like they can't make the woman's like breasts larger because that would just be like overt over sexualization. So what they do is they make her hips wider.
Oh, yeah.
So like that's why you see all those Pixar like moms who have like unreal proportions.
Like Miss Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it's kind of a similar thing where like in anime they have to make that distinction between a younger and older character by making them. It's also with men as well, because not all men are like super lean or like jacked, but in anime they're portrayed that way to make the distinction between, okay, this is an adult man or an adult woman, and this is a young man or a young woman.
It's like in Japanese culture,
Mhm.
like a woman is like you would be more likely to see a woman with bigger breasts and a bigger butt. And I
Mhm.
think that's one reason they give the women bigger breasts in anime
Mm-hmm.
than to give them big hips like they do in Pixar.
Mhm.
Because Pixar is Western,
Yeah.
and then that's Japanese, and that's
Yeah.
how pretty much how kind of like how things are. So
Yeah, that's what I heard, and that makes sense from like my point of view as well.
yeah,
Interesting.
so I've seen things.
I don't know. There's just a lot more behind anime, and I really want to see like if we can convince Angel to get on board, but like not through Baba, because Baba has clearly like been
A
doing
radical
things
force.
wrong. Yeah.
Amen.
So Angel, what will it take?
So we do a 12 episode anime, 24 episodes.
I can't do 24 episodes of anything.
Oh
Only
my God.
Narcos.
Okay, so a 12 episode anime.
I don't
Wait.
know.
What if we say like, don't give him the episode like limit on how big the anime is. Like, say
these
how
ones.
many episodes it'll take for him to like get hooked. Like for
How many
instance, like
episodes are you willing to watch?
yes, yeah, exactly.
22-minute episodes.
Probably one.
One.
Yeah.
So you gotta find an anime that just hooks you on the first episode, and there's a couple of them. There's a
Yeah,
couple of them.
yeah.
Couple of new ones too.
I say I gotta be hooked within like the first half too.
The first half of
What
this
about
episode.
20 minutes though.
Yeah.
But I think
It's
it's
20 minutes.
Would you prefer to watch it in English or like in Japanese?
In English, it's
But it depends on the show. Because there are some shows that if you do a good job of like having like English voice actors.
yes,
There's just so many filters, so many limits.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in the first half of the episode is crazy.
It usually happen like that.
See, but I was thinking like honestly, like a show. I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but like it came out this past year, but it has more of like a Western and an animation style. Like I don't know, I think it's called like Cyberpunk Edge Runner.
Oh,
Like
that-
I
it came from
watched
the
that
game.
show
It was
in English and it was brilliant.
I watched it in English too.
Like, it was very
But
good.
the thing is, I watched it with my girl, and she said it was weird. Halfway
are
through.
are you guys viewing that through your own lens? Like you have to think about, is this a good starter anime or is this a good anime for
Yeah.
Angel?
Cause like,
You know?
if it wasn't as weird for me, cause I watched the gameplay of the game, so I knew kind of what things were, why things were happening. Like it was just another random show she was watching. You know, stuff was happening, was kind of weird. So I mean, I can see where she was coming from, but like to me, I liked it. But if you don't watch stuff like that, you're not gonna
I'll
like
be
it.
honest, I was kind of just told him like it has like a good English version, so
Yeah.
therefore I thought.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You're right. Actually, it's important to take into consideration.
Like there's a lot of like on Netflix, like the anime is there. I think there's more on there to what like Western society and
Yeah, I think a good anime for you specifically would be Death Note because like the story starts right away. Number one, number two, you kind of get to like it's good because episode 1 will be enough for you to be able to like go through the entire story, and like in a way it's like starting you, getting you prepared to watch other like kind of ridiculous animes. Like it breaks that ice, like with the ridiculousness and like the like dramatization or whatever, to like be able to be comfortable in other animes. You know,
like you know it's crime based too.
Yeah.
You know, you got a police force trying to catch this guy, and that guy is manipulating them, and it's like all around. It's like it's almost like a game of chess.
The
Like,
greatest
Yeah.
chess game.
yeah.
animated.
And like they're just manipulating each other to try and if the bad guy can win, or if you even think he's the bad guy for what he's doing, or if the good guy's winning, whatnot. But
I don't know. I think when I watch like Western, I like real things that really happen. So like Narcos, that really happened, and then like I don't know. I just like real based on real life stories type. Like
So,
knowing
like-
that was possible.
would you like it's like it's not like a little off reality because the Death Note and what it does and like the little monster that comes with him. It's like, would you be fine to like just watch something that's just like just a little away from reality for once?
I mean, I could
But
try.
it's like half and half. There's still cities, a police force. It's just like the stuff he's doing is like not reality. Like it's kind of like.
I think I'd be open to it, but I don't know if I would like it.
okay. Have you ever watched Sherlock Holmes?
No.
Oh, okay. If you ever like think about it, like you could think about it as like a Sherlock Holmes case, but like Sherlock Holmes is like trying to catch a person with superpowers. So like in that way, that was the first time like it was explained to me, and that's how I kind of like watched it, because like that sounds pretty interesting to me,
And like Code Geass is another one of those, but it's more based on a country. It's like if Germany won the war, and there's this kid that was a German noble, say, and he's trying to win back the country that was taken over from Germany, but he has this power that helps him do it, and like he makes sure that no one knows who he is, and then he just keeps trying to tries to build like a little army, try and take it back.
I don't know. It's super hard to remove like the over the top or like the superpowers and stuff from
Yeah.
anime. So it's kind of hard to like recommend one that's like
Out of
super based.
reality.
Yeah.
No, Your best bet, honestly, is Death Note, just because of your your genuine interest in like psychology
Mhm.
and like crime. That's like just the most
And business.
reasonable.
Yeah.
What's it called? Most reasonable. That show. If one show has the best chance, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So do you know anything about it?
What?
Well, like
no,
just
the
just to
only
tell
one I
you.
know is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, just to
Mm.
tell you, like, he has this thing called a death note, and if you write your name in it, you die.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
and now it starts in a world where they don't believe in any type of superpower stuff, right? Don't believe in any of that. But it comes down to a point where they don't know how these people are dying, and they have to just assume that they're dying from a supernatural cause. So, I don't know, like, if something were to, like, supernatural happen, like, in real life, they gotta try and,
Figure out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of like how it builds off of that, and they end up like thinking it's supernatural and whatnot. And
Yeah, I think you would really like one of the characters in there too. Like, I think you would really like Al. Like, he's like this detective. He's like the world's greatest detective, and he's the one that's like on the case. And I think you would really like him.
yeah, the way they think in there is just
It's like crazy. Like, you see the whole thought process. That part will be a little bit dramatic, but like,
But because you like chess and you play it, you can like appreciate that part for
Yeah.
sure. Like
Yeah.
for sure.
it's kind of like if you watch As in Borderland, like during some of the games they have in there, you're just thinking to yourself, how are they to complete this game without dying?
Hmm.
And then during it, they will like explain their thought process, and like I would have never thought of that. And like in Death Note, it's kind of the same. It's kind of like crazy,
Okay.
but almost their thinking is somewhat like logical, so it makes sense.
It's definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's almost time.
Yeah.
So today was about anime. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Once again, we had two great guests. It was a pleasure having them on. I got to see some of my own biases that I tried to avoid. So it was good. It's fun. I think it's really important to be challenged. It's important to have people around you who don't mind challenging you. So you can always continually become a better version of yourself. So yeah, guys. But hey, that's enough of that. We'll see you next week, man. Rachel's Bandit. Peace.